bottle shop.
What's that?
It's about wine, when it was first California wine. It's based on a true story. Funny and fun and terrific.
Is that on there?
I got it on
Okay,
YouTube.
yogis, as my teacher Jen used to say, let's close the talking door.
Let's talk. I highly recommend it.
I've heard of that too.
Yeah.
Okay. If you see me hop up and down, it's because people dropped off and I'm bringing them back on. Same thing with my phone. Okay. Good morning. Morning. Nice to see you, Liddy.
Well, it's the first time since I went offline about 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Morning, Candace. All right, guys, so just finding a comfortable seat. As always, sitting however is best for your body, not trying to force your body into any particular shape. It may be that you're up on a block or have one leg out or both legs out. But the idea is always to have this sense of softness in the front of the hips so that the sitting bones can find their place, rooting into the earth. Without effort or force, and this allows the spine to find extension naturally, shoulders relax, breath comes in steady and easy, just finding and feeling your breath now. Watching your breath as it comes into and out of your body, not trying to change or shape the breath, just let it come and go. Your exhalation is an invitation to soften your shoulders away from your neck and your neck away from your head. Part your teeth, relax your tongue. We're going to be working into the hips a little bit this morning, doing hip flow. But we're going to start with some more restorative, therapeutic work on our backs for our shoulders and our spines, eventually coming into our hips. Next week, we're going to start Bird Month, which I know is a lot of fan favorites. So all of our poses in the next couple weeks, starting next week, will be bird related. But we're going to throw a little pigeon in this morning just to whet your appetite. One more nice deep breath in. And then exhale. Release your chin towards your heart. Blink your eyes open. Lift your head. We'll straighten our legs out in front. Be coming up on a blanket or staying up on your blanket. You're already there or a block. Bringing your hands to the top of your right leg and just get your right leg moving back and forth. Good, and then we'll shift to the other side. And then crossing your right leg over your left. Interlace fingers and toes, shake hands with your foot. So just making some space here, never forcing the toes open. And then separating your fingers nice and wide. Remove your fingers, draw your foot towards you, press away, and then holding your foot, giving each toe a little twist and turn, opening up the joints of your toes. Spending some time on each toe, massaging, turning in both directions, maybe even a gentle pull. And then once you finish working your toes, making your way around your foot, working the ball of the foot first, and then coming around wherever your foot needs some love. Eventually coming back up to the big toe side and little toe side of your foot. Hold your foot, shake your foot out. Good, and we'll give the foot a little rub out. And back down. Switching over to the other side, tuning into your breath here as we work on our feet and just noticing how the breath naturally opens up and expands. You might just feel a deep breath coming into your body. That's because you're working the feet, opening up fascia, connective tissue in the body. And then separating your fingers, again, nice and wide. Move your fingers, draw your foot towards you, press away, and then holding your foot, working your toes. Eventually coming back to the foot and working the ball of the foot, spending some time there before working your way around your foot. Coming back up now to the big toe side and little toe side of your foot. Give your foot a little shake out as you hold the big toe side and little toe side of the foot. And then we'll rub the foot out and rub out. Just give our legs a little pound out. Finding your tennis ball, we roll out our feet. And if you don't have a tennis ball, you can keep just massaging the foot out or doing some percussion on your legs and your rib cage. Good. Switch over to the other side. Good. And then we're going to stay with the tennis ball. If you're up on a blanket or a block, come on off. Straighten your legs out in front. Leaning to your left, find your right sitting bone. It's this big bone right at the bottom of your tush. You're going to sit on top of the tennis ball with this bone. It's going to feel lopsided. Press into your hands and shift your hips from left to right a few times. Just taking nice, easy breaths here. Feeling the tennis ball come to the inside and the outside of the sitting bone. Good, and then bending your knees, come front to back. Tennis ball comes into the meat of your tush, right over that bone and into the back of the legs. This one can sometimes be a little bit interesting. Relax your head, relax your head. Breathe, and then shift back just enough so the tennis ball is in front of your sitting bone now. So it's just in front of the bone here, straightening your right leg. And then bring your hand to the top of your right leg and we'll get it moving back and forth again. Just like we did at the beginning of practice. And I'm pressing down with a little bit of effort here to really get that tennis ball into the feet of my hamstring attachments. Good, and then tennis ball will come out and sit. Pause for a moment, just close your eyes and notice what's happening in the back of the leg. It might feel flatter, shoulder might have dropped, might feel a release even in your neck. Good, let's do the other side. Shifting left to right a few times. And if this is not comfortable for your wrists, I forget because I have orangutan arms, but if this is comfortable for your wrists, you can bring blocks underneath your hands and make your arms a little bit longer. And that'll take some of that pressure off your wrists or your shoulders. Good, and then staying on your left side, bend your knees. Coming front to back. Eventually shifting back just enough now so the tennis ball is in front of your left sitting bone. Again, you're not sitting on it now, it's just wedged up in there. And then bringing your hand to the top of your left leg, get the left leg moving back and forth. Good, and release. You move your tennis ball out to the side. We'll do one more pound out, and let's everybody kind of just give the body some percussion. If you can clap or do the Tarzan thing. Breathe. Good, and then we're going to meet on our backs. Like you can have a little support underneath your head. Not too much. Good, so as you make your way onto your backs, just let the body settle for a moment. This is where we're coming into some therapeutic work for the shoulders and the spine. And you might test to see how it feels laying flat on the floor. If that's really uncomfortable for your low back, then you can bend your knees and place your feet onto the floor. Otherwise, legs can be on the floor, arms by your sides, and just pause here for a moment and breathe. Maybe close the eyes. Recognizing that even when you're still, the body is moving, the spine is moving in harmony with the breath. Good, bringing your arms by your sides, we're going to just move the arms. Again, notice if this is bothering your low back, knees can always be bent. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, let them rest on the floor behind you. Exhale and lower your arms. We're going to do that 4 more times, moving on your own. Notice what's happening in the spine now. The spine may be arching a little bit. You may feel the low back coming off the floor a little bit. Ribs might be poking out. Always just noticing. Taking your time, using the whole breath to coordinate the movement. When you finish your last one, arms by your sides. Relax. Notice if you were clenching your jaw or holding the tongue, just let that go. Bringing knees into heart center now, so hugging your knees into your heart. Give yourself a little squeeze. Good, and as you inhale, arms come overhead, let the feet come to the floor, knees bent. Exhale, draw the knees in and give yourself a hug. 4 more here, noticing what's happening in the spine. So your lower spine, your lumbar spine may be pressing into the floor. I'm sure for probably all of us when we give ourselves a hug, and then the lift of the low back. As the feet come to the floor, arms come up overhead. When you finish your 5th one, arms come down by your sides, knees bent, feet stay on the floor. Good, drawing knees into the heart, hug your knees in. This time we're going to keep the hands on the legs. As you inhale, keep your hands on your knees, straighten your arms. So again, you're feeling a little lift of the low back. Exhale, draw the knees in. 4 more. Just rocking the pelvis here. Being aware of what's happening in the spine. With each movement, slight changes in each movement, slight changes in the spine. Last one. Good, feet come back down to the floor, arms by your sides, adjust and breathe. This time sweeping right arm overhead, let it rest on the floor behind you. Your left arm stays quiet and still by your side. As you inhale, reach away from the body. So really stretch the arm away from you. As you exhale, just soften the right arm. It stays overhead. Maybe the elbow bends a little bit. 4 more. On the inhale, you extend and stretch. No tension in the face and throat. On the exhale, soften. 3 more. Noticing how this changes and shifts what's happening in the rib cage, right side of the body. Good. When you finish your last one, you can bring your right arm down by your side and pause. See if the shoulder blade feels different. And then we'll do the other side. Left arm comes up overhead. 5 rounds here. Inhale, extend and reach. On the exhale, soften the arm. Good. 4 more. Face is relaxed, tongue is relaxed. Good. Bring the left arm back down by your side when you're finished. And then both arms will come overhead, resting on the floor behind you. Full stretch here. Inhale, reach the arms away. You can add the legs if you want, or just keep these bent feet on the floor. 5 rounds. If you're stretching through the whole body, the legs are straight, and you're reaching through the feet and the hands at the same time as you inhale. Getting a full body stretch. When you finish your last one, bringing your arms by your sides, knees bent, feet on the floor. Take your time, no hurry. Drawing knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart, give yourself a squeeze. We're going to come into a dynamic twist. Feet come back down to the floor, knees bent. Take a breath in as you breathe out, cross your right ankle onto your left thigh. I'm making this little number 4 shape. Your arms can come out into a T position. And on an exhale, let your legs drop over to the left. Letting the legs drop over to the left, you're twisting to the left. As you inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, take it to the right. Keep the shape of the legs. So we're just rocking back and forth here, back to center. Take it to the left as you exhale. Back to center. Take it to the right. We're going to just come back over to the left on your own time, using the inhale and the exhale to travel. Next time you exhale over to the left, you're going to hold the stretch. You feel like you can bring your whole right foot to the floor. You can bring your right foot all the way down to the floor. Just stay where you are. Good. Optional to hold on to the top of your right foot with your left hand and draw the right foot more towards your left armpit, but only if your right foot's on the floor, guys. So you want to be grounded here. If you've got the foot, you can start to think about moving your right hip away from your right armpit. Big breath here. Good. If you've got the foot, release, draw the foot back up. So we're back onto our backs. Bring your right foot to the floor. And just separate your feet and let your knees windshield wiper back and forth a couple times. We're going to do the other side, but let's just release the right hip here. Good, coming back to stillness, both feet on the floor. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, left ankle comes onto right thigh. Inhale here as you exhale, tip to the right. The inhale brings you back to center, and the exhale takes you to the left. You're just letting the spine, letting the pelvis kind of rock back and forth. Do a couple more rounds. Not worrying about the shoulders too much. Next time you come over to the right, we're going to hold. So now your left foot is on the floor maybe. And you can work here, or if you can find the top of your left foot with your right hand, maybe drawing the left foot closer to your right armpit as you move your left hip away from your left armpit. So getting a side body stretch into the left side of the body. Maybe even coming into the left hip a little bit here. You've got your left foot, release the foot. Bring the leg back up. Good, drawing both knees into the heart now. Hug your knees into the heart. Maybe do some knee circles here. Row your boat a little bit. We've got one more series on our backs before we start to come up off the floor. Good, bringing your feet back down to the floor. Feet are hip-width distance apart and parallel, preparing for dynamic bridge. Just be mindful if you don't have too much underneath your head. A little support is fine. Press down into your feet, lift your hips, sweep your arms up overhead, let them rest on the floor behind you. As you exhale, lower everything back down. Good, 4 more, moving with your breath, pressing into the earth, lifting the hips. Keeping your face and your throat soft. Last one. Good, relaxing your arms by your sides when you finish your last one. We're going to reach the arms up towards the sky or towards the ceiling. If you're lucky, you're outside. It's a beautiful day. We're going to just do a little rope climbing here. So reaching up with your right arm like you're grabbing a rope, and then reach up with your left as you pull the right arm down. So you're feeling the shoulder blades coming up off the floor. Really stretch the arms way, way up. You don't have to let them come all the way back down to the floor. So keeping the arms relatively straight as you reach up and climb. Do 2 more. Good, relax your arms by your sides. Breathe. Notice the release of the breath here. We're opening the back of the body with that one, right between the shoulder blades. And now bend your elbows. Elbows are tight into your body. Palms are facing one another. And from here, you're going to press your elbows really powerfully into the floor to lift your chest. So your shoulder blades might even come up off the floor. I'm doing a little bit of a back bend here to the upper spine and my thoracic spine. My head stays on the floor. Good, exhale and lower. Do 2 more of those. Inhale, press, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then exhale, release. Last one, notice if you're bringing any tension into your jaw. Try to keep the jaw and the face relaxed and release. Good, relax your arms by your sides and breathe. We'll come into one more round of dynamic bridge. Arms will come by your sides. Do 5 rounds. Press to the earth, lift the hips, sweep the arms up. Exhale and lower. Good, 4 more, yogis. Good, when you finish your last round, you can draw your knees into your heart once again. Hugging your knees into your heart. And maybe another hip circle, any movement here. We're going to start to prepare to come up. Doing a little bit of core work before we come on to hands and knees. So maybe rocking and rolling a little bit here, only if it feels good for your head and your neck. We're going to meet in boat pose. So as you come up, lift up into your boat. Oh, thank you, Candace. I didn't know that was on. Yeah, I didn't realize that was on. Thank you. I didn't turn it on. It must have been on maybe from last night. So thank you for that. I didn't notice it. Good. So from your boat pose, we're going to just be here in boat. So you might hold here in boat and take a couple breaths. If you want to come with me, a little bit more challenging. Draw your feet together. So we're doing kind of a sitting Gonokasana. Inhale here as you exhale. Tent the fingers and lower. Inhale, feet come together. Exhale and lower. 3 more. Inhale. You can just be holding your boat here or taking a little breather and coming in and out of boat. 2 more. Exhale and lower. Last one. And lower and hold, hold. Good morning. Good. Come forward. Back into your boat. Good. And then cross the legs in front and let's take a forward fold. Everybody come into a forward fold. Let it go. Good. Walking the hands back up. Change the cross of your legs. And then fold forward once again. Good. Walking yourself back up. Straighten your legs out. Give yourself a little pound out. And we're going to meet in our tabletop pose. Hands and knees. If you'd like, you can put a little support underneath your knees. We're coming into a nice tabletop here, guys. And once you find your tabletop, becoming a little bit fluid here and finding some movement, just moving organically here. You might just do a little quiet cat-cow pose, letting the belly drop, letting the spine round, or shifting hips back to heels for a dynamic child pose. Just take another 30 seconds to move and feel your body. We're going to move into our dynamic downward facing dog flow. So from your tabletop, we'll meet in tabletop. Inhale here, exhale, round back into child's pose. Inhale to fours. Exhaling to downward facing dog. We're not going to hold it, coming right back down to tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, alternating between downward facing dog and your child's pose. If you want a gentler practice this morning, you can skip dog pose and just continue to move in and out of child's pose. Make this practice your own. Good. When you feel complete in your flow, we'll meet in child's pose. And just let the body rest for a moment. Good, I'm just checking everybody out. Inhale to fours. Exhale into downward facing dog. Come through your plank pose. And we're going to come right into our flow, either geese, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Elbows tight into the body. You can always skip your vinyasa here. If you'd like to move through a couple rounds, coming through your plank, geese, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or baby cobra on the exhale, taking it back to downward facing dog. You can even hold in plank. So many options with your flow. When everyone feels complete in their movement, we're going to meet in a forward fold, Uttanasana. So you'll take a breath in your dog pose before walking feet up to hands into your forward fold. Good, yogis. Keeping a nice generous bend into your knees as you inhale, let the hands slide up the legs, come halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana, shoulder blades drawing down the back, looking down at the floor. Back of your neck is long here, so you're not lifting the chin. Exhale and let it go. Good, 4 more. Good, staying in the forward fold. When you finish your 5th one, still keeping a nice bend into your knees, maybe shaking the head yes and no a couple times. Good, and then we'll walk ourselves all the way up the legs. Coming into our mountain pose. Hey, we're standing. Just took me 40 minutes. Good, so feeling your feet into the floor, let's just move the arms, sweep up, nice big breath here. Exhale and lower. Good, 2 more. Last one. Coming into a crescent stretch, inhale, lift up. Let's hold onto the left wrist, take it over to the right. Inhale back to center, change hands and take it to the left. We're going to do this dynamically 1 more round and then we'll hold. Good. Next time you come over, you'll be tipping to the right, holding here, pressing down into your left foot. Bring your feet parallel. Yeah, that's it. Good, come on up and we'll take it to the other side and hold here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower your arms. Separate your feet and just shake it out. We're going to come into a little bit of flow. And if you'd like, you guys can bring your blocks up to the front of your mat. Good, sweeping up, inhale. Oh boy, I've got the thing right above me. Exhale and fold. That's not usually there. Inhale halfway. Exhale and fold. Good, inhale, lift up. Half sun salutation and fold. Halfway lift. And fold. Arms out to the sides all the way up. Last one. Come all the way up. Palms together over heart center. Extend your arms straight out, parallel to the floor. Coming into eagle arms. Palms facing up. Bend at your elbows. Bring your right elbow inside your left. You might just stay here or come into the full twist in your eagle. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. And if this doesn't feel comfortable, you can have one hand on the shoulder. Even both hands can be on the shoulder. Or even forearms just touching. So find what works best for you. 3 more breaths here. Wherever you are, on your next inhale, broaden through your collarbones. So separate your collarbones wide apart. Beautiful. Good. To come out, bring hands to the tops of the shoulders. Sweep your arms up like you're taking off your sweatshirt. Reach up. Yes, and let it go. Shake it out. Right, let's do the other side. Arms come parallel again, palms facing up. Bend at your elbows. This time, left arm comes inside the right. Take care of your shoulder. Feeling connected to the earth here, nice and solid in your legs. And on the inhale, broadening through the collarbone. Breathing. Good, and then bringing both hands to the tops of the shoulders, sweep up. Reach way, way up, exhale and fold. Halfway lift and fold. Arms out to the sides, all the way up, back to our half sun salutation. 2 more. Good, we'll meet palms together over heart center. Take your time. Lovely yogis. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift, coming into downward facing dog, walk it back. You can hold here or come through a round of vinyasa, just one if you're coming through your flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog and flip up, right leg up, reach it straight back behind you. Lifting it up as high as you can, bend your knee and open your right hip. Breathing here. Fingers are spread wide. All 5 knuckles on each hand are pressing into the floor, particularly your pointer finger and your thumb. Good, and then square your hips. On an exhale, step your right foot forward into your lunge. Find your blocks or your books. And bring your back knee down, bring your left knee down to the floor. We're going to be on the left knee a little bit, so if you need support underneath your knee, you can grab your blanket or a towel, take your time. Moving just from the pelvis here, inhale as you exhale, Shift your hips back. You can let the toes come up or keep the ball of the foot grounded. Just see which feels better for you. On the inhale, come forward. Exhale, shift it back. 3 more. Good. Next time you come back, we're going to hold the pose. So again, the toes can lift up here and fold over your right leg. You want to feel a lot of sensation in the back of the right leg. Flex your toes towards your knee. Spread your toes wide apart. You're really going to feel the back of your hamstring fire up. Good. Come back into your lunge. And now we'll come onto the ball of the back foot and come into a straight leg lunge. You can always keep your back knee down if you want a gentler practice here. Holding and breathing in your lunge for a few more breaths. And you're working in your lunge. You're not just hanging out. Feeling the energy of your right shin moving towards the front of your mat as you reach your left heel back. Good. Let's come into a nice easy twist, bringing your hand or your block to the inside of your right foot. Right hand comes to your hip. On an exhale, let's twist. So as you twist, your right knee is going to want to wing out. Keep tracking it over your right ankle. And maybe float the right arm up. Good. One more nice deep breath here. And then release. Find your flow. Step it back. Optional to come through your vinyasa or just hold or take a rest in your child's pose. We'll meet once again in downward facing dog and do that series on the other side. Good, yogis. This time left leg lifts up. Reach it straight back before floating it as high as you can. Bend your knee, open your hip, and breathe. Good, squaring your hip now. On an exhale, stepping your left foot forward. Find your lunge. Good, back knee comes down. Adjust your blanket if you need to. Yep, and on our exhale, finding that little flow. The inhale brings you forward. The exhale shifts you back. Maybe playing with keeping the ball of the foot on the floor and see how that changes the stretch. Good. The next time you shift back, we'll come into the pose and fold over the left leg, knowing you can make this as intense as you want to. You're controlling it by how powerfully you flex your left foot. Relaxed in your face and your jaw.
I'm actually here saying that. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Good, let's come back into our low lunge. This time coming onto the ball of your right foot as we come into our straight leg lunge. No, you can always keep your back knee down. Either way, you're working the lunge, coming into the left hip here. And not too much weight into your hands. Make sure you're not bearing down into the floor, your blocks. And now bringing the block to the inside of your left foot, bringing your left hand to your hip in your own time on your exhale, finding your twist, and maybe floating the left arm up. Notice if your right shoulder blade is kind of creeping up towards your neck. Draw your right shoulder blade down your back. Yes. Beautiful. And release. Find your flow. Good. This time we'll meet at the top of our mats in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's come all the way up. Palms together over heart center. Pause here. How's everybody doing? Good? Okay. We haven't done the hip flow in a while. We're going to do the hip flow today, which is one of my favorite fun things to do. We'll do one more flow and then we'll come into the hip flow. So let's inhale, lift up. Exhale. I have time. I feel like I teach for 3 hours today. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, walk it back, downward facing dog. Let's come into one more nice hip opener here. Coming back to your right leg, float your right leg up, bend your knee, open your right hip. We'll just be here for a moment. And then square your hip on your exhale. Step your right foot forward into your lunge. We're going to bring the back knee down again and bring your blocks or your hands to the inside of your right foot. We're going to come into a low lizard lunge. Walk your right foot out to the right. And you can stay here with the foot flat on the floor. Back knee is on the floor. Or you can start to flex the foot and roll onto the pinky toe side of your right foot. But see how that feels. Liddy, are you on your back knee? Liddy, come down on your back. Yeah, there you go. Much better. Yeah, more stable, especially if you're coming on the pinky toe side of the foot. Yeah. Good. So if you're on the pinky toe side of your foot, you're flexing your toes up towards your knee. This is going to protect your knee. And you might stay here in your low lunge or maybe come down. Wherever you are, notice where you're looking. If you're looking behind you at your belly button, try to bring the head more neutral. So looking down at the floor, straight down at the floor in front of you. Back of the neck is long, the head isn't hanging. And breathing here. Keep flexing the foot if you're on the pinky toe side of the foot. Super important for your knee. And then from here, if you want to come up on the ball of your back foot and lift the left knee, you can. It's just a different stretch. I like being down. Good to come out. Slowly make your way out. Walk your foot back in. Find your dog pose. Optional to come through a round of vinyasa if you want, or just hold here. Or you can come into child's pose. One more side and then we'll take a little rest. Float your left leg up. Bend the knee, open your hip. Good, we'll square the hip, keeping the leg lifted. On an exhale, left foot comes forward into your lunge. Right away, bringing your back knee down. Good, and then bringing your hands or your blocks to the inside of your left foot, walking the foot out. Might be different for you on this side, so I can't come onto the pinky toe side of my left foot because of my hip, so I'm gonna stay right here and not even drop deeper into the lunge. Take care of your body. Find your low lizard lunge. Make sure you're not looking behind you, just straight down at the floor. Back knee can be up or down here. Lovely, guys. I wish Zoom had like a scrolling window pane so that it would just move so I could just see you guys. Oh, I just might have come up with an app.
There you go.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, Keith.
Keith will work on it, yeah. But so we're just going to be here for another 20 minutes. You guys are good. All right, let's slowly make our way out. So take your time coming out. We held that one for a bit. Find your lunge. Take it back into your dog pose. We're going to meet in child's pose. So if you want to come through your flow, go for it. Otherwise, we'll meet in child's pose and just take a little breather. I'm going to watch you guys here at home for a second. When you feel complete in your flow, come into your child's pose. Sliding your palms under your shoulders, press into your hands, sit yourself up. All right, guys. So we're going to come into a hip flow. And when we do hip flow, you want to kind of clear the space around your mat so that you're not kicking your block into space. So just move your props out of the way. I have kicked my tennis ball across the studio before. And so we're going to come onto tabletop. Good, so from your tabletop pose, bring your right knee to your right thumb. So I'm coming into a little bit of a gentle pigeon. So right knee comes to right thumb. Yeah. So Liddy, if you don't want to do the flow, then you can come onto your back and do, yeah. So you can do like a modified pigeon, and we're not going to be here holding in pigeon. So if you want to, yeah, so just watch and then see if you want to join in. You can do pigeon on your back too if you like. Good, so from here, inhale. As you exhale, release your right hip down to the floor. Bend your left leg behind you. Bring your hands behind you. Press down into your feet and lift your hips. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower the hips back down. And then sweep your back leg all the way around. We're going to come into a twist. So your hips are towards the front of your mat. Marianne, swing your hips all the way to the front of your mat. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Good. Bring your hand to the front of the leg and twist to the left. We're going to do this a couple times. Come back to center. You can stay right here if this is enough on your hips, or come into Gomukhasana. So stacking the knees and pause here. Left leg over right. Switch. Yes, you got it. We haven't done this one in a while.
Yeah, apparently.
I know, we're gonna go slow. Good, so take your hand should be on your left leg should be on top. Tuck your left leg behind your right. I'm not coming into Sukhasana, so my feet aren't crossed. I'm separating my knees wide apart. Bring your hands behind you, press down into your feet and lift your hips. Exhale and lower down. Yes, lovely. Extend your right leg out to the side. Inhale here as you exhale, a little forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Gate pose. Bring your left hand down to the floor. Sweep your right arm, come up into your gate. So I'm flexing my right foot, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Yes, lovely. Okay, you guys ready? This is why we moved all our props out of the way. Candace, be careful. Sweep your right leg straight back. And careful, Liddy, we're gonna come into pigeon. Then you just skip that one. Yes, skip that one. Good, so we're facing the front of our mat.
The left leg is front now.
Left leg is on front. Marianne, you got it. Good, inhale here. Exhale, release your left hip down to the floor. Tuck your right leg behind you. Bring your hands behind you. Marianne, tuck your right leg way back behind you. Pull it behind you. No, bend your knee. Bend your knee up. Yes, that's it. Keep drawing the foot in. Yes. And now bring your hands behind you. Press down into the tops of your feet and lift your hips. So everybody in the studio should be facing the windows with their hips squared towards the windows. Good, release your hips back down to the floor. And now you're gonna swing your back leg, your right leg, all the way around. Square your hips to the front of your mat. And then twist to the right. Yes. Good, come back to center. You can stay here or stack the knees for Gomukhasana. And then now taking the top leg, which should be your right leg, tucking it behind your left, separating your knees wide apart. You guys can see my feet aren't crossed at all, so I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. Bring your hands behind you. Press down to the tops of the feet. Lift the hips. Exhale, lower the legs and the hips back down. Extend your left leg out to the side. Variation. Here comes our gate pose. Right hand comes down. Sweep the arm across and come up. Flex your left foot up towards the ceiling. Yes. You ready? Watch your props. Inhale here, exhale, sweep the left leg straight back. You're in your pigeon. We're gonna do this one more time. 3 times as fast. No, just kidding. Good, inhale here, lift the heart. Exhale, release your right hip down to the floor. Tuck your left leg right behind you, so squeeze it in. Bring your hands behind you, press down into your feet, lift your hips. Exhale, lower the hips back down. Back leg swings all the way around. Square your hips to the front of your mat and twist to the left. Should feel a little easier the second time around. Come back to center. Stack your knees, optional for Gomukhasana. So my hips are square to the front of the mat. Yep, beautiful, guys. And now draw your left leg behind your right. Separate your knees wide apart. Hands come behind you, press down and lift. Exhale and lower. Extend the right leg out to the side and fold. Inhale, lift. Cross your right arm in front and come into your gate. So really press into the top of your left foot. Yes. Here comes our big sweep. Inhale here, exhale, sweep the right leg straight back. You're in your pigeon, square to the front of your mat. Press down into your hands and lift your heart. Exhale, release, left hip down. Draw your right leg behind you. Pull the leg into your right tush. Hands come behind you. Press down into the earth. Lift your hips. You guys hips opening a little bit? Yeah. Good. Release. Here comes our big sweep. Sweep the right leg all the way around in front of the left. Nice. Square your hips to the front of your mat and twist to the right. Come back to center. Maybe stack the knees for Gomukhasana. And then draw your right foot behind your left. Right leg behind your left. Yes, separate your knees wide apart. Hands come behind your back. You guys got it. Press down into your feet. Lift your hips. Exhale and lower. Extend the left leg out. And take a forward fold. Inhale back up. Gate pose. I was thinking, did I want to do one other thing, and I got sidetracked. Good, inhale here, exhale into your pigeon. We're all done, guys. Nice work. Take it back, downward facing dog. Walk it out. Optional to come through your flow. We'll meet in child's pose. The reason that hip flow is so awesome is not just because we're moving through very different positions for the hip, we're moving in a flow, and so your brain kind of gets out of the way. And a lot of times the body doesn't open because we're thinking too much about it, right? And we get tense in the body. So that's the whole purpose behind moving through that hip flow with a little bit of speed so that you don't think about it too much. We're going to do this again, I think we're going to do the hip flow. Not today, not today. Mary Ann was like, no! I think we're going to start doing it though every week since we're doing third month, and that's a lot of good stuff. So different variations. I've got another one too. So I've got 3 of them actually. Good yogis. Let's inhale to forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just transitioning, walk your feet up to your hands into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, unfold. And let's come all the way up. Palms together over heart center. Relax your arms. We're going to come into triangle pose. Just a couple standing poses before we come back onto the floor and finish our practice out. Bringing your feet wide distance apart. And so you guys can come sideways on your mats and face the mirrors. I just have to face this way because of the virtual. However you want to do it. Yeah. Good, turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Bring your arms forward, up and out. Inhale here as you exhale, tip up and over into triangle pose. Both legs are straight. And I'm sorry guys, I didn't cue blocks. If you'd like to use a block for your triangle, find your block, take that time to set up well so that we can hold. We're going to take a few breaths here and just move the upper arm. So make sure you're comfortable in your triangle pose. Good, left arm is extended up towards the ceiling. Inhale here, reach the arm overhead towards the front of your mat. As you exhale, open the arm back up. Maybe bring the back of your left hand to your sacrum. Inhale, extend and reach. Exhale, sweep the arm back. Last one. Inhale, extend and reach. Good, and then come into triangle, hold. Full expression of the pose. And then press into the earth, come all the way up. Let's reverse. Float your right arm up. And then bringing arms to parallel, feet to parallel. We're going to come right into the other side. So those of you guys in the studio are just going to stay right where you are. You can switch your block to the other side. This time, right foot turns in, left foot comes out. On an exhale, find Utthita Trikonasana, coming up and over to the left. Setting yourself up well, knowing we're going to be holding this. Both legs are straight. And be mindful that you're not locking the left foot, the left leg, left knee. Good, inhale, reach the right arm up and over towards the back of your mat if you're in the studio. Exhale and open up, maybe bringing the back of your right hand to your sacrum. 2 more, big sweep of the arm. Last one. Good, find triangle pose, hold for a moment. And then press into the earth, reverse the pose. Bring arms to parallel, feet come back to parallel. Both feet parallel, hands come to your hips. Let's take a wide leg forward fold. Visarta Padottanasana. Come into your forward fold. And you can come into any position for your arms. The pinkies, you can grab your big toes with your peace fingers if you want. You can walk the hands behind you. Just letting the head go, letting the shoulder girdle go. Knowing if the hands don't quite come down to the floor, you can grab a block or your book for support. Good, and then preparing to come out, bring your hands to your hips, elbows up towards the ceiling. Press into the earth, come all the way up. And find mountain pose and rest here. So bring feet together. Pause in your mountain pose. Good, we're going to do one more standing pose before we come back onto the floor. Coming back to the front of your mat, eagle pose, full eagle. We've opened the hips, we've opened the shoulders this morning. So let's come into eagle. I did 2 birds today. Pigeon and eagle. Spoiler. Good, so bringing your arms parallel, bend at your elbows. Bring your right elbow inside your left. And I'll pause here for a second in case anybody needs to find a wall or a pole or something, so forgot to offer that up. Bend your knees a lot. Feel the weight of your body into your right foot. Press down into your right foot, lift the left leg and cross the left leg over the right. And you might just have the toes on the floor here. Or you might be in the full cross. This depends on how the hips are feeling or how one hip is different than the other. Calm your breath. Good, preparing to come out. Inhale, lift up and lower. Nice work. Stand, pause. Good, now the other side, floating the arms back up, bend at the elbows. This time, left elbow comes inside the right. Taking care of your shoulders. Bend your knees, weight comes into the left leg, press down into your left foot, pick up your right and cross it over. Again, the toes can be right on the floor. Steady in your breath. No tension in the body. Good, preparing to come out, sweep up, and let's fold forward. Halfway lift. Take it back, downward facing dog. Optional to come through one last round of your flow. We're going to meet in child's pose and then come onto our backs. So take a couple breaths here in Balasana. As you make your way onto your back, make sure you have a blanket or a towel for your head. Take your time, no rush. Just for the next 30 seconds, a little mini Shavasana. We have one more series to come through before full Shavasana. But let's just take 30 seconds to let all the work that we've done this morning. I moved at a pretty good pace this morning. Let's let the body settle into that energy for a moment. About 30 seconds. So if your legs are straight, resting on the floor, start to bend the knees, place your feet onto the floor. And you're going to cross your right leg over your left with your knees touching. Arms are out into a T position, and you've got your blanket underneath your head or close by. Inhale here. As you exhale, let your legs drop over to the left. Your right shoulder's going to come off the floor a little bit. That's okay. Inhale back to center. Pay attention as you exhale, come over to the left again. Same direction. Good. Inhale, come back to center. This time as you come over to the left, your right arm is going to follow, and you're going to come over onto your side with your palms touching. Both arms are straight, and this is where you need your blanket, right? Because now I need to put my blanket up to a higher setting so that my head and my neck and spine are all neutral. So make sure your head's not hanging at an angle. My legs are now heavy into the floor. If you have glasses, you might need to take your glasses off. And my palms are touching, arms are straight. The legs aren't going to move here, guys, just the upper body now. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, just open the arm wide. So let the right arm lift up like an alligator opening up its jaws in the sun. It doesn't have to come to the floor behind you. Just find some resistance. Don't force it. And then inhale, the palms touch again, arms close. As you exhale, the arm opens. Take this super, super slow, yogis. Inhale, the arm closes. Do not force the stretch. We're going to do this for a few more rounds, and you want to let the breath dictate the movement, right? Not the other way around.
Does your neck go along with your arm?
That was, yeah, so that was coming. Marianne asked if your head follows along. So your head can stay quiet, or the head can follow the arm as you open up. It just depends on how it feels for your neck. For some people, like for me, I like to keep my head quiet. But if it feels okay on your neck, you might try it and see how that feels. Just start to really slow it down, knowing that the goal is not to touch the floor behind you. The goal, as you exhale and open up, is to let the breath open up the upper lobes of the lungs, pectoralis minor, which doesn't get a lot of attention, in the chest. Do 2 more. Inhaling to close. Exhaling to open. When you finish your last one, you'll be resting on your sides, palms touching, just where we began. Good. Pause here and breathe. We're going to prepare to come onto our backs. Be mindful where your blanket is so your head doesn't come falling off the blanket. And start to open the arm up and come all the way onto your back. Uncross your legs. Keep your arms out into a T and just let your spine settle and notice the difference between your 2 sides. So you might feel a fuller breath into the right side of the chest. Your right shoulder blade might be flatter into the floor. Good. So we're going to come into the other side now. This time crossing left leg over right. Remember, knees are touching. As you exhale, you're going to let the legs drop over to the right 3 times. And on your third twist to the right, your left arm's going to follow. And then you'll stack one palm over the other. And then adjust your blanket so that your head and neck are neutral. Your legs are heavy. So as you start to move the arms, the legs don't move anymore. The legs stay very heavy and quiet. You're just taking the stretch into the upper back, thoracic spine. So get comfortable here. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, begin opening up. As you exhale, just think about an alligator opening up its jaws in the sun. The inhale, palms touch again. Good, keep going. Knowing that the head can stay quiet, or the head and neck can follow the movement. On the exhale, you open. On the inhale, you close. Do 3 more.
When you finish your third one, palms will be touching. Just resting comfortably on your side. Let everything go as you finish. Nice deep breath here. And then as you exhale, open it up. Come all the way onto your back. Be careful where your head is on your blanket. And just enjoy that opening in the left side of the chest. Shoulder blades more fully into the earth. I'm going to start to transition now, yogis, into Shavasana. I would suggest a little knees into heart center, just bringing some symmetry back into your spine, maybe rowing your boat a few times here, doing some knee circles, and then just any other movement that your body needs. Happy baby would be nice. Before transitioning into relaxation. Just take another minute or so to get yourself comfortable and settled. Swallowing now so your soft palate releases back. Letting your jaw release from behind your ears so that your teeth gently part. Tongue is resting in the bottom of your mouth. Feeling the weight of your body as it rests into the floor. Allowing your muscles to release away from your bones. Feel the weight of your bones.
remember your breath. And staying very still. Begin to deepen the breath. And as the breath deepens, sensing the spine moving in harmony with the breath. Maybe starting to bring some movement back into the body, stretching through fingers and toes. Slowly coming back into space. Eventually bending your knees, placing your feet onto the floor, coming onto your side to rest. Take your time, no hurry. Make sure you support your head with your arm or your blanket. In your own time, eventually using the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a comfortable seat, and we'll just take a moment. A sense of peace and quiet in our Shavasana to a more upright and wakeful pose, so we can take that peace with us. Bringing palms together over heart center. Bowing together towards our hearts, towards each other. Namaste. Namaste, yogis. Guys, if you want to unmute yourselves, just namaste out, go for it. We got 15 today, so we had a big group today.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, guys.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I can't hear you guys. Maybe I have my thing muted. There you are.
Thank you, Joan. Namaste.
Namaste, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Labor Day. It's Labor Day. I don't know what.
Holiday.
Labor Day.
Now it's 8.
Thanks, Sam. Glad you made it.
Yeah, me too. It's noisy, but I made it. Bye.
Bye, Dad. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Joy.
Namaste. Thank you, Joan. It was wonderful. I love the hip flow.
John, cicadas was the nice touch.
Oh, the cicadas, yeah, I cue cicadas.
Yeah, it was like.
We had the windows open today, so it's nice.
I don't know if it
Thanks,
was-
Molly, good night. Bye-bye, guys, have a great weekend.
See ya.
The energy shifting from like this side of the room to that side, 'cause they were over there and then they go